Hello, Meoni here, and welcome back to another news video for Final Fantasy XIV. This has been making the rounds, and I finally decided to hop on it myself because it's got some really nice juicy bits of information. I thought I'd put a video together for this, in case you don't want to read through it yourself. So, there was an interview with Yoshi P on Famitsu, and obviously Famitsu is Japanese media, so it's going to be in Japanese natively, and as a result of that, it's not immediately possible to understand what's going on. However, our community is filled full of lovely people who do know how to speak and read Japanese. And this Famitsu interview today was translated by at IKN. Is that IKN or LKN? I can't really tell. IKN 111 on the March 30th, 2021. There we go. Sorry about that if I butchered the name. But there we go. I will link this in the description so that you can come and have a look at this as well. Essentially, it's just basically broken down into the fundamental bits to take from this that are translated. So there's no actual questions here, just answers. So here we go. So regarding the main storyline, I must preface, obviously this has a couple of spoilers just for what we've already seen in the game in 5, the current patch. So in 5.4 and onwards. So if you haven't played through that, probably not a good idea to read this yourself. It says, the main story featured in 5.5 will start from Fandaniel's appearance in Alamigo's Hanging Gardens and chasing Luna Bahamut, as we would imagine. So that's where it picks off from. As we saw last time, just outside of Alamigo, all of the characters were going, oh my goodness, what is this? And clearly, Luna Bahamut is involved in this as well. An important character that will play a crucial role in the Zodiac vs. Hydaelyn story will make its appearance. Its appearance. I don't know if that's a translation situation. Its appearance. Interestingly, though, that could be any number of characters. We do know, however, that obviously we're going to have none other than our best boy, Estinian, back in the storyline as a Scion. So whether they're, iterating towards Estinian, who knows? But its appearance is quite interesting. Maybe that's because they don't want to give a gender, which would give away, obviously, which character that is. But my money would be on Estinian. The main story will, as usual for patches before an expansion, be split into Part 1 and Part 2. Of course, Part 2, I believe, is going to be sometime in May, if I remember correctly. They say the 5.5 new instance dungeon, which is known as Pagelfarn, I think, will have something to do with the Amalja tribe. Yeah, so there's a tower and obviously the Amalja tribe. It's most likely to do with the untempering of the Amalja, I would imagine, since we've just discovered a way of, curing temperance to a primal, which is going to be very interesting, and it'll probably be related to that. They say, I won't say Gaius won't have a role to play in 6.0 main story, but I can't promise you he's going to have a main role. End quote. Interesting. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. It'd be good to see more of Gaius, even if it is in a relaxed sort of way. We have seen a lot of him in Sorrow of Wurlit, which is one of my favourite stories of Shadowbringers. Now onto the Nier raid. The series will come to its conclusion in 5.5 with its third Alliance raid, but the ending might be slightly different when compared to the previous Alliance raid series. We've gone wild content-wise this time, and that Nier feel will be all over the place. The story will be highly enjoyable with some twists. We've also been holding out on some mechanics on purpose to make sure they go into this raid/story. Very interesting. The gear obtainable in this third Alliance raid is related to Nier and will make you think, oh, I didn't see that coming. We've made it so that players that haven't played Nier before will probably think, cool, we didn't have that sort of gear before in 14. End quote. Very interesting indeed. They also say new rare minions, obviously as rewards, because we always have like a minion reward, well, 2 minions from each of these raids, and some items that were hard to obtain in the previous Nier Alliance raids will become easier to get. So if you've missed out on maybe that black pod minion, perhaps that's a good way of getting it now. Maybe they're going to increase the drop chance of that, because before it was a chance for it to even drop, and then you had a chance from your rolls. So it's quite a hard one to get, unless you're amazing at RNG. So that's the bit on Nier. I'm personally quite excited by this. They're saying that the story will have some twists and we'll get an ultimate reward that we didn't see coming in terms of gear. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully we get some floating swords and things and weapons. I don't know. It's most likely going to be 9S's outfit, perhaps, and probably some other styled outfits. I can't even guess, honestly. I'm still personally holding out for the potentiality of the flight suit, but who knows? It would be so unusual to get a mount as a reward, but we don't know at this point. So on to job changes. Because of the Ultimate's postponement, they say, and the fact there will not be very high difficulty content in 5.5, we're mainly going to change numbers. We're not going to reduce numbers, just raising them. When looking at melee DPS, there are some jobs that have a hard time fully unleashing their potential. We're going to cover up with numbers where we think they're lacking. No major job changes then until 6.0. This is kind of normal, honestly, even without the postponement of an ultimate. It'll be mostly potency changes, just a few percentage here and there going up, I would imagine, for most. Yeah, don't expect anything too drastic, and especially when they mention melee DPS, I doubt there'll be much to healers and stuff like that. So talking about the Unreal trial, so obviously we still don't know what that is at this point. It says, I took part in the new Unreal trial, this is Yoshi P, while tuning the fight, and thought, was it really that difficult back then? It might be even harder than Titan, they say. It will be a trial that has main tank and off tank have important roles, while healers have their own mechanics. DPS will also have to think about how they're moving, and it will be expected of them to be careful about what's happening around them. We realized this might be as difficult as a Savage trial, so we tuned it down a bit. Interesting. Any thoughts then, perhaps, what this could be? I was personally thinking that this might be Ifrit, but honestly, this is more leaning towards Leviathan in my eyes. Maybe you guys have got a good idea what the next Unreal will be. Let me know in the comment section. So regarding the 6.1 Ultimate, so the first major patch into, obviously, Endwalker. It's not settled yet, but we're designing it with level 90 systems in mind, so there are high chances it will be based on level 90. Making it level 80 synced will, I think, lead to disappointment because of how the jobs differ from level 80 to 90. This will be tuned so that you need to get the latest gear up to this point, end quote. So there we go. There's some of the questions put to rest, whether or not the next Ultimate will be designed based on the fact that it's currently in the works right now. It will actually be level 90. So they're upping that, and you'll be able to use your level 90 skills. So that's pretty good. That's good. A lot of people were worried it was going to be a level 80 raid in Endwalker, so we would be scaled down, but that is not the case, which is hopefully a good point for most people. So moving on to crafting and gathering, the new high-end crafting content will be extremely hard if your gear is not melded and optimized. Interesting. You will have to think turn by turn about your next move while crafting. Rewards will be glittering main hand tools. There will be no new gear for crafters and gatherers in 5.5. There will be new titles for big fishers, and 5.5 will feature new custom deliveries in the firmament. The new character will be very unique and will be related to Ishgard's high houses. End quote. So there we go, the new custom delivery client confirmed to be inside the firmament itself. We do have the Ryzen Song Quarter completed on all servers now, which is awesome. There is a lot of places that we could have a vendor. So yeah, hopefully there's some cool rewards from the new custom deliveries client. Last time with Eelto, we got a mount out of it. So hopefully we get something as fun as that this time. Very cool. And I'm also looking forward to those titles for big fishers, whatever that means. So moving on to the Save the Queen section. They say, as of today, the numbers of players who have cleared Castrum and finished a quest is more than 4 times higher than the players who have cleared Eureka. Almost 50% of the player base are playing Bostia content. That's a huge number, wow. We have heard the feedback regarding the fact that items needed for the resistance weapon are easier to get outside than inside Bostia content and are reflecting on it. Interesting, so I expect some nerfs, I would imagine then. Better get those fates done as fast as I possibly can then. The new field in patch 5.5 is called Zadnor. This will be content-wise pretty much as big as Bosja. It will feature new critical engagements and duels. He says, quote, "We're changing the system for duels and 5.5. Even if you don't get picked for a duel, it will be taken into account and you will have a higher chance of participating in the next duel that's held." So there's like what you call it, a honor system. So like, what's it called? Fail stacks in some games. Like you don't successfully get to do something, it basically gives you a chance next time. That's cool. There will be content similar to Castrum, in that you will have to attack a fortress in Zadnor. Rewards in Zadnor will include gear and mounts. Interesting. It will include something that some players will want at any cost. Well, that's glamour for me or minions, so... Interesting how it says mounts, though. Fortress of Zadnor. Very interesting. I'm looking forward to that. Delibrum Regine Savage will not be tuned down gear-wise. However, it will be easier due to the new lost actions and new resistance rank cap introduced in 5.5. The number of players needed for tackling DR Savage will no longer be 48. However, because we're removing this restriction, the fights will be harder. We're hoping that by lifting the 48-player restriction, more players will attempt the content. The next step will be the last of the resistance weapons. Its strength will be similar to that of the previous last stage relic weapons, end quote. So there we go. If you've never done Delibrum Regine Savage, which myself is included in that, it might be worthwhile to wait a little bit, get some of those new lost actions, get your new resistance rank cap, give it a go. You technically won't need 48 players, which is quite a difficult amount of people to get together. I think you'll agree. It's very hard to find that amount of people unless you go to, obviously, certain Discords for that. All in all, that seems like a positive thing. I'm certainly looking forward to the new Castrum-like content, the new critical engagement. I did like Lacus Littori. Hopefully it's not too hard, and hopefully it's doable by all players. And I'm looking forward to seeing what this new gear and mounts will be. Very excited for that. Very cool. I do like the resistance stuff so far. Talking about Asgard Restoration next. The Asgard Restoration is completed, but a restoration festival will be held for a fixed period of time. The festival will be divided into a few steps, but it will be content that you can casually take part in. There are new rewards added. I can't promise Ishgard's housing area will be exactly the same to the pixel, but it will be roughly the same. There we go. Confirmation on what the housing might look like. The firmament is going to be basically a demo for that. This new festival does look quite fun. I can't wait to see what the rewards are. On the special site, we got a couple of pictures of it. There's lots of balloons everywhere. Hopefully, we see some of those characters boogieing on down, celebrating. We'll have to wait and see. Next up, regarding the PvP cheating issues. Oof, this was a thing, if you didn't know. Players were using third-party tools to get inside of walls, and they did so by overwriting data packets. They were using tools simply to harass normal players. I'm wondering what their actual intent was, he says. When we get reports of this kind of behavior, we instantly investigate the matter, look for proof, and terminate the accounts at hand. We were able to look at what kind of internet connection and IP the cheaters were using. But as of the case of hand, the cheaters went as far as changing their hardware and IP repeatedly. We're thinking of this as something close to the obstruction of business, and are currently discussing any measures that might be taken. End quote. So yeah, basically, if you were unaware, the details weren't given there. Rival Wings essentially was attacked by multiple free trial accounts, where people were glitching robots inside terrain and then floating them. So they would be out of range of anyone being able to attack them, floating the giant mechs above the enemy base and destroying the crystal and cheating that way. So, yeah, it's a big issue. They have since suspended the ability for free trial to access PvP in total, but there are bigger changes that need to come in the future, obviously. So yeah, I'm glad that they're taking action, honestly. These people obviously don't want to have a fun time in the game and want to ruin it for everybody. So regarding Final Fantasy XIV on PS5, So this is regarding the new beta. As long as you have a PS5, anyone will be able to participate in the PS5 open beta. We'll share more details on April 1st, i.e. today, on the forums. You'll be able to use your current PS4 14 data to play in the open beta. Players playing 14 for the first time with the PS5's open beta will be able to play on free trial. Oh, interesting. PS4 players currently playing with a disc are able to move to the digital edition. The game size for PS5 will be about 15 gigabytes less than the PS4 version. We might officially launch the game about 2 to 3 weeks into the open beta. So again, no confirmation if this is going to be a private server or a live server, but the beta should be starting soon. I'll have to try that out myself. So next up, we're running into the miscellaneous section, the last section of this particular translated set of notes. So first off, there's a trend lately in real life where people are camping alone. As such, we're adding a bonfire minion. That's kind of awesome. I just see myself plunging my Dark Knight sword into the middle of the bonfire, personally. Pretending that I'm out of Dark Souls, praising the sun. That's a really cool idea. I would love to get a bonfire minion. Can you imagine that? If it's anything like the plush cushions or the moon and sun, that's going to be awesome. Yoshi P says he can't say anything about the new instrument yet that's being added in 5.55, which is part 2. My money's on like a church organ or something huge. I can't wait to see what they come up with. We're making changes to Triple Triad so that it's easier to use 4-star cards. That's good. That's a good thing. There will be no allied Beast Tribe quest this time around. That's really sad. That really puts me in a sort of sour mood a little bit. Oh, I'm so disappointed. I was really looking forward to seeing how the Qatari and the Pixies work together with the Dwarves. That was going to be, you know, the highlight of my year, really. Oh, I always love the allied Beast Tribe quests. Like when the Namazu were involved last time with the others, it was just hilarious in Stormblood. So, yeah, sadly no allied Beast Tribe quest, which is sad, in my opinion. Oh well, never mind. Hopefully they go back to doing allied Beast Tribe quests in Endwalker, and we can live in hope. Next up, he says, making changes to the level sync in roulettes. In the case you're leveling with a pre-made party. So does that mean that it will be easier to do with a pre-made party then? Who knows? It's very hard to read into that particular message, but I would hope that they're going to make it so that if you're in a pre-made, that you can do stuff a little bit faster, and that the level sync allows for that to go faster, especially roulettes. Personally, I think the main story, main scenario roulette should be, if you go in with a pre-made, it should automatically allow you to skip cutscenes, but that's just my opinion. But again, nothing confirmed here, just about level sync, so no idea. Next up, it said, we spent money to make the G-Warrior and seriously can't just use it one time. We're going to do something else with it, end quote. So the G-Warrior is the robot that you pilot during the Sapphire weapon fight in the Sorrow of Whirlite story. So, yeah, a lot of people didn't like that. I personally quite liked that content, but it seems that obviously it would be a waste not to use that again. So I completely agree. I would love to see some side content where we just fly around in a G-Warrior mech suit and kill waves of enemies or something. You know, let's go play a Gundam game inside Final Fantasy. That would be amazing. Or PvP with a G-Warrior. That would be awesome. Like mech PvP. Hell yeah. And then finally, adding a Valens Van Varo emote is pretty difficult since we can already see it being used at other players in a not-so-nice way. So if you don't know who Valens Van Varo is, he's the guy who's burn out the bad, burn out the bad, burn out the bad. That guy. They got it, yeah. Obviously somebody asked him if we could get an emote. Yeah, that clearly has bad implications, so yeah, we won't be getting one of those, it looks like. So there we go, some nice juicy information on that, to do with Ultimate, to do with Trials, to do with Unreal, bit of clues here and there. It's nice to get some confirmation on Zadnor. We really didn't have anything about that we're going to be fighting against another fortress, another critical engagement of the Castrum Lacus Latore size. Very much looking forward to that content. Very much looking forward to all of the stuff on this list, and I can't wait to see what 5.5 has in order. For more information, obviously the live letter is tomorrow on Friday the 2nd. which is when I will be doing a breakdown just after that of everything that was shown in that summary. So much love. Let me know what you're most excited for, and I'll see you all next time.